Welcome, Kings fans. I am Jesse Cohen. This is All the Kings Men Live, presented by Manscaped. How you doing, Bailey? Manscaped is an official partner of the LA Kings. Thanks to this revolutionary company, manscaping accidents are a thing of the past. Just get yourself the Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0. Inside, you'll find products like their Lawnmower 3.0, which has advanced skin-safe technology, so this trimmer won't cut you or Bailey. Everything you need to keep trimmed and smelling nice is in the Perfect Package 3.0. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code KINGSMEN at manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com, and use the code KINGSMEN. Bailey, how are you doing today? Or I should say producer Bailey. You're producer Bailey when you're with me on All the Kings Men Live. It's been an interesting week in Kings hockey. A lot of news coming out of the league offices, some rumblings that we may be getting hockey back sooner than later, hopefully. But first up, let's go ahead and take a look at this week in Kings news. Today at 5 o'clock, Fox Sports West will be airing Game 5 of the 2014 Stanley Cup Final. They've been airing all of the games from that series up to this point this week. At 7 o'clock tonight, obviously the double OT winner, Alec Martinez from Toffoli and Clifford. Sorry, spoiler alert if anybody didn't know. Bailey, I know you were at Staples Center. I actually watched that game at home in Long Beach. I had to work that day. It was before I was a part of the Kings team. But I drove to downtown, to Staples Center, following that goal, because a couple of my friends texted me and told me that I had to be there with them. So I actually jumped in my car, drove downtown to celebrate with all my friends. Obviously, that was a tremendous night in Kings history. It's one of my regrets that I wasn't actually in the building for that game. But next time, Bailey, I'll be there next time. Moving on in Kings news, Jim Fox spoke with assistant coaches Trent Yanni, Bill Ranford, and Marco Sturm on Zoom. It was a great call. Jim knows all the right questions to ask, and obviously we've had Bill Ranford on Bailey's Movie Night, and Trent Yanni and Marco Sturm, tons of things to say. Go ahead and check that out. It's on all of King's social media platforms and on the website. Now, Bailey talked a lot about the 2014 Stanley Cup win right there, but a lot of people want to know which team was better, the 2012 or the 2014 team. Now, we spoke to Jim Fox recently, and he said that to win one game, he'd pick 2012, but to win an entire series, he'd pick the 2014 team. Well, we're going to find out if he's right next Tuesday when we stream a game between the 2012 Kings and the 2014 Kings. That is next Tuesday. Jim Fox, Alex Faust, and Bob Miller will have the call and participate. So we hope that you tune in and watch that next Tuesday. Keep your eyes open. There'll be more details about when and where to watch that. Now, we talked to Jim about that issue, and it was on the Great Playoff Debate Round 2. That's the latest episode of All the Kings Men. We've been asking Nick Nixon and Jim Fox to pick what they think is the best round of the playoffs, the best series of the playoffs for each round. Round 1, Round 2, Round 3, Round 4. We're up to Round 2. Both of them picked the 2014 7-game series against the Ducks in 2014. Before we talked to them, Gary Shuchuk also joined us. Now, he scored a double overtime goal in Game 5 in 1993. Can't see that sign, Bailey. Jim tells a great story about being nervous during Game 7 and having to leave the TV truck and walking around the Honda Center parking lot. And when Tanner Pearson scored that final goal in that game, he said the Kings fans at Honda Center were so loud he could hear them outside the building from the parking lot. So good job, Kings fans, once again taking over the Honda Center. That is going to do it for this week in Kings news. But we've got some birthdays to celebrate, Bailey, as always. Now, Kings fans, if you've got birthdays or anniversaries or anything that you want us to mention, go ahead and send them to us, to me, to Bailey, whoever you can. But first up this week, May 4th, former assistant coach and former head coach of the LA Kings, nice balloon there, Bailey, was John Stevens. Joined the Kings in 2010. He obviously won the Cup twice as an assistant coach and was named head coach and coached for about a season. We had an opportunity to talk to him on All the Kings Men. A tremendous, tremendous guy, tremendous coach, just one of the nicest human beings you could ever know. So happy birthday, May 4th, John Stevens. May 5th was Ziggy Palffy's birthday. Now, Palffy played from 1999 to 2004. He played in 311 games with the Kings. He had 340 points, 150 goals. He was a plus 85. He played on the LAPD line with Jason Allison and Adam Deadmarsh. Now, all three of those guys unfortunately struggled with injuries while they were with the Kings. But I think that Ziggy Palffy, I'm not going to say he's the most underrated King because I think he was pretty highly rated when he was here. But I will say he's one of the more forgotten Kings. I don't hear a lot of people talking about him, and he was absolutely a superstar. He was every bit the great player that your Luc Robitaille's, your Jari Kurri's, your Anze Kopitar's was. He was tremendous, and that team deserved better than its fate. So happy birthday, Ziggy Palffy, May 5th. Also celebrating a birthday on May 5th is Meatball Luff's owner, Matt Luff. So obviously we've spoken a lot to Matt and spoken a lot about Meatball, but Meatball wanted to wish Matt Luff a happy birthday, and so do we. So happy birthday to John Stevens, Ziggy Palffy, Matt Luff, and all Kings fans out there who celebrated a birthday over the last week. Now, this is All the Kings Men. Like I said, we want to celebrate your birthdays, your anniversaries, etc. But we also want to celebrate your fandom of the LA Kings. So we asked you on social media to reach out to us and to show us any artwork that you may have created that shows your love of the Kings. So we're going to go through some of the submissions we got. Now, we can't get to all of them, unfortunately, but they were all great, and we appreciate all of them. We're going to start off right away with this picture of Drew Doughty done by Reddit user HockeyCat. And I don't know why, but this one touched me in a weird way. I love this one to death. Bailey, you can tell that's Drew Doughty, right? But it looks a little bit to me like almost like a Muppet Babies version of Drew Doughty, and it got me thinking, what if there was like a sort of Muppet Babies version of the NHL? I'd love to see like a kids version of the Kings running around led by this drawing of Drew Doughty. So excellent work there, HockeyCat. Next up, not only the artwork on this one is beautiful, but the concept of it. It's by Carly, and it's Alec Martinez hoisting the cup with a beautiful background of some flowers in bloom. And then on the other side is Henrik Lundqvist, sad after giving up that goal. And we're all familiar with Lundqvist face down on the ice after giving up that goal. And behind him, the flowers have wilted and are drooping. And I just love the idea of not only having the hockey players, but also the background. Sad Henrik, that's right. So good job, Carly. I thought that was just a great idea. The next picture we have was actually drawn by Kylie, who's in the 6th grade, believe it or not. She went to her first hockey game in March, saw Dustin Brown's hat trick against the Wild, and her teacher's favorite player is Dustin Brown, so she drew this wonderful little picture, including Dave Joseph's voice calling Dustin Brown's name there, coming booming over the Staples Center loudspeakers. The next one, done by a professional artist and just as beautiful as the rest, of Foley, Clifford, and Martinez by Ronnie J. Barnes. It took 3 weeks to complete and is hand-painted using acrylics. That's right, Bailey, 3 weeks. Now, I talked to Ronnie a few weeks ago about his work. He is a professional artist and does some magnificent work. You can check his stuff out on his Twitter account. Next up, a picture of Jarrett Stoll with the cup by Terrence Sheehan. Now, it also has a Stoll autograph from August 15th, 2012, so it would have been just after that first Stanley Cup win, and it says Yorkton on it, and I was curious. I'm not sure whether or not the autograph was acquired in Yorkton, but Jarrett Stoll and the Yorkton Bantam AAA Terriers won the Western Canadian Championship when Stoll was a younger guy. So I think it's entirely possible that Terrence Sheehan picked that up. It might have been at his cup party, Bailey. That's entirely possible. So good job, Terrence, and good job, Jarrett, for signing that. Next up, skull is a sort of terrifying skull with the Stanley Cup, done by Brian Flores. Now, I tried to reach out to Brian to ask him how long it took or what system he used to create this, but Brian, it looks like your Twitter account doesn't exist anymore. It did like 2 days ago. So if you're watching this, Brian, or if anybody knows Brian, let him know we use this, and thank you very much. Now, the first image that the Kings used to ask for your images was done by Jacob. Yes, it should be, Bailey. It's a great job. It's a gorgeous rendering of Bailey in black and white. Now, the outline was done using a mechanical pencil, and then it was stippled with an ink pen. Bailey, that image is only 3.5 by 2.5 inches wide and tall. Yeah, it's really small. It's really small, and the detail is incredible. So good job, Jacob. The next one up, I think, might be one of maybe my second favorite. I suppose I shouldn't choose favorites, but it's Brown hoisting the cup by Nacho on Twitter, and it's unfinished from 2014. But frankly, Bailey, I like unfinished work sometimes. I like the color fading out. I like it sort of emerging out of nowhere. So really good job, Nacho. Great picture of Brown from a great moment in Kings history. Finishing up, we've got an American flag with the Kings logo where the stars would be, done in wood by Manny. Now, Manny does a lot of great work, and if you are interested in purchasing either this Kings flag or anything else, you can check him out at Manny's Rustic Creations with underscores between Manny's and Rustic and Creations on Instagram. Good job, Manny, and good job, all you Kings fans who sent in your submissions. We want to reward you. You want one for free? Well, talk to Manny about it, Bailey. Maybe he'll hook you up. But Kings fans, you can go ahead and win a prize from Manscaped. We're going to go out and give 5 away now. Just enter the word Manscaped in the chat, whether you're on Facebook, on Twitch, wherever it is you're watching this. That's Manscaped in the chat. We will go ahead and give away some of those prizes. But for now, it's This Week in Kings History. So go ahead, Nick Nixon, let us know what happened.
On May 4th, 2001, Luc Robitaille's goal on a setup from rookie Eric Belanger gave the Kings a 1-0 win in Game 5 of their first-round series with Colorado. 2 nights later in Los Angeles, the Kings won again 1-0, and this time it was an overtime goal from Glenn Murray set up by Nelson Emerson. The win tied the series with the Avs at 3 games apiece. On May 3rd, 2012, the Kings were playing St. Louis in Game 3 of their second-round series, looking to go up 3-0. The Kings' Mike Richards, in his first season with the team, had a scrap early in the game against Jamie Langenbrunner to help set the tone. Then he scored a second-period goal that proved to be the game winner and added an assist on a Drew Doughty goal to complete his Gordie Howe hat trick. With the 4-2 win, the Kings took a 3-0 series lead over the second-seeded Blues. 3 days later, the Kings completed their first-ever sweep of a 7-game series with a 3-1 win over the Blues. After Jordan Nolan's first career playoff goal, Captain Dustin Brown scored late in the first period to give the Kings a 2-1 lead, and they never looked back. Brown would seal the win and the series sweep with an empty net goal, giving him 6 goals in 9 playoff games. The Kings then went on to beat Phoenix in round 3 and New Jersey in the final on their way to their first Stanley Cup. The Kings finished the 2012 playoffs with a 16-4 record, which included 10 road wins in a row.
It's one all, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Joining us now, Daniel Armbruster, the lead singer of the band Joywave. How are you doing, Daniel?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for having me. Hi, Bailey.
Thanks for coming. We spoke to you previously this season on opening night. You came and hung out with Bailey, and then Bailey went and hung out with you at a show, and you came and you talked to me on All the Kings Men Live. Turns out you are a huge Sabres fan, and as we said in that conversation, not just a huge Sabres fan, but a real hockey fan.
A real hockey fan is
right.
right. And as you can see here, I've got my favorite jersey right here next to me. It's a signed Jack Eichel jersey from his rookie year.
Number one Sabre fan, that's right, Bailey.
The number one Sabre fan. Wow, I'm surprised they gave you a whiteboard, Bailey. I thought you'd have some type of like clever text-to-speech synthesis or a keyboard with really big keys on it or something.
He was hacking too many Zoom calls, so we had to take it away from him. So we gave him a whiteboard. He can't do any trouble with that.
Right.
But Daniel, the new Joywave album Possession released March 13th. You were all set to go on tour, but as we all know, March 13th was pretty much when the world came grinding to a halt. So the only one, not the number one. Gotcha, Bailey. Yes, the only Sabres fan.
This is gonna be a Sabres roast right now. Yeah, turns out everything got bad. How about that? And normally, if I was dealing with something like a canceled tour, I would be watching a lot of playoff hockey.
Yeah.
Turns out, yeah. I don't know. When do you think it comes back? How does it come back?
I mean,
got feelings on it?
I was hoping that there was going to be some news coming yesterday. They had a board of governors meeting, but no news, which ordinarily they say no news is good news, but in this case, no news just means more sitting around talking to each other on Skype or Zoom. I'm curious though, Daniel,
filling the content void.
Has the album been performing well? I mean, given all things considered.
Yeah, I think that people have generally had more time for music, which is nice. I wasn't sure what would happen. I think that there's a large group of people who have been forced now to take a pause in their life and have found music comforting. And you think about the albums that really meant something to you when you were young. You know, why did they mean something to you? And you think about it, it's like, oh, I connect it with a summer vacation that I had from school or something like that. Like there's this time period where music is allowed to come in, and now so many people are working 100% of the time. They've got music going in the background. It's like for a lot of people, it's now pushed to the foreground, and I think that it's allowing a large amount of people to connect more with the record than they might have otherwise. Like if it was just allowed to play in the background, they go, oh, I like this.
Well, I mean, full disclosure, I have not yet heard the new album, but I love the old albums, and I love the music videos. You hung out with Bailey at Staples Center on opening night, but then Bailey joined you for a concert. How was Bailey as a concert goer? Did he behave himself?
He largely behaved himself. He made his way to the front of the crowd, and he demanded my attention in the middle of one of the songs, but it actually went great. I thought that would be the most challenging moment of the set, but the singer from Bastille came out and started tickling me during our set, which was the only time that happened on the tour, and he decided to wait till the LA show to do that. So I would rate Bailey as a less intrusive guest than the singer of Bastille.
I think that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said about Bailey. Less intrusive than the lead singer of Bastille.
Yeah, you could use that in your marketing pitches.
That's right. So listen, obviously we've said already there's no live hockey there, we're all aware of what's going on, but creatively does this give you an opportunity to get out of your own head and write music, or do you want to spend as little time as possible thinking about that sort of thing right now?
I've been trying to use the bonus time as bonus time, so I've been trying to be a little more collaborative. Our process when I'm making a Joywave song is very solitary, where I'm sitting down with my own thoughts in the studio and getting things out, and then eventually the other guys come in and help amplify things, but the genesis of it is very solitary for me. So trying to reach out and work with friends long distance has been really fun. So I've been doing a little more collaborating, and not with an intent to make it a Joywave thing, but just like kind of some side project things, or just purely bonus things, I guess.
Just to talk very briefly about your creative process, would you watch something, and I'm just going to use this because it's the thing that everybody's been talking about for 2 months, but would you watch something like Tiger King and pull inspiration from something like that, or are you able to keep pop culture references and things like that separate from the internal process?
I'm able to keep them separate, but there are things that make you have realizations in the things that you love. Like there's a song on our new record called Half Your Age, and there's this lyric in it that says all your heroes now are half your age, and it's that realization of getting older, and it's very much like looking at what we're doing right now and who we're talking about, and me saying, look at this cool Jack Eichel jersey I have here from this, that this 19-year-old signed for me, and I'm so excited about it. And it's this thing where you realize, like, Jesse, has our moment passed? Did we mess up, man?
Daniel, I didn't need this kind of personal attack in this call. I thought this was going to be a friendly call, frankly.
It's all fluff here. No, but that's something that does come in from the thing that you're doing. You're thinking about, what am I excited about? Why am I excited watching this game? It's always been, Bailey is timeless. I agree. Did Bailey watch Tiger King?
I'm sure he did. We talked the last time you were on about that very thing that you mentioned, which is, as you get older as a hockey fan, all these young players start coming up, and you realize that guys were born, after you'd graduate high school or whatever. It doesn't like Carol. Sure you don't, Bailey. But I'm curious, are there any players or any storylines that have been paused as a result of the season being postponed that you're really anxious to see them play out?
I'm anxious to see the storyline where they change the format to be by points percentage and 24 teams are allowed in the playoffs.
Sure.
Because that might mean that I get to watch a Sabres playoff game, potentially, possibly, depending on if it's conference-wide or divisional. it hasn't been a great year here. So I would just like the distraction of playoff hockey. That's kind of it.
Fans or no fans, or does it matter to you?
No fans, because I can't imagine. I love things that are weird or just like outside of the norm. When are we going to see that? You know what I mean? It will always be the playoffs with no fans, and people will be like, "What was that? What was that?" That's actually kind of nice, Bailey. Yeah, but it would be a crazy thing to see, I think.
It would, and I hadn't even thought about this until earlier today, but Alex Faust, our play-by-play announcer, brought up the point that when the visiting team wins the Stanley Cup on the road, the crowd is usually pretty quiet for the last moments of the game, so it might not be too unusual, but yeah, you're right. If there are big moments, big hits, maybe a fight, to have no fans in the crowd, and presumably you'd be able to hear all the players, that would be something else. Given any thought to... have you guys done any performances online for the fans?
We haven't. I know a lot of artists have, but just trying to replace the live experience to me is kind of, I don't know. I haven't seen anyone do it well. It's always like a bad version of a song you like.
Yeah.
Are you've been playing NHL on Twitch, right, Bailey? Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of stuff on Bailey's Twitch channel.
You should play against Paul, our guy. He's our drummer's a pretty good. He's not good at the NHL games, but he's good at video games in general. But yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine playing the hearing the call, like an exciting moment of like a goal with like 0.3 seconds left or something, and then trying to sell that in the empty arena. Do you add in crowd noise or something?
No.
Well, it's going to be just like weird. It'll be a one-time thing.
I figure if they do the bubble program that I've heard where they'll have 8 teams quarantined in one arena, I figure the teams that aren't playing in that game can be in the crowd. I don't know. I think that might actually be as entertaining as the game.
Oh, that's actually pretty interesting. I hadn't thought about that. That's going to be, I don't know. I feel like the guys with families will hate that, and some of the guys who are like 19 or 20 and are just like exclusively identify as hockey player will be like, yeah, whatever we got to do.
Yeah, the guy's half my age, as you say.
Yeah.
Now, if a mascot bangs a drum and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? An excellent question, Bailey. The real question is if well, there's no fans for you to sneak up behind with your drum if there's no fans in the building, Bailey. Daniel, we understand that you put together a little clip package for us, though, of your fondest memories of LA Kings plays over the years. So why don't we go ahead?
Yes, and I have to tell you that I am such a Kings fan. I had this jersey made for me back at the home opener, and when they have, they give you the opportunity to have a jersey made with your name on it. You're supposed to pick a fictional number, something that people don't wear. So I went ahead and picked, a meaningless number that no player for the LA Kings has ever worn. With my name on it now. And yes, let's dive into some of the classic Los Angeles Kings clips. All right, so this one here we have Bailey getting absolutely crushed.
Daniel, I thought this was going to be a highlight package.
No, listen, it is in its own way. It was just a very special moment to me because it feels a lot like Bailey getting on people's shoulders in the front row at our concert at the Greek and screaming at me. I have to say, I had to get this one in. Bailey, I'm very sorry.
All right.
I'm very sorry, but look, all the clips from here on out, totally hockey plays.
Daniel.
Yeah, look, he could have scored. It could have been a goal. Obviously, this one kind of worked out a little bit differently. Kopitar helps him back over. What can I say? Big Kings fan.
I'm going to give you a pass on this one since it demonstrates excellent leadership and teamwork from Anze Kopitar to get Pearson over to the bench. Next up, Forbert Falls, January 17th, 2019. Daniel, I'm starting to see a trend here. I feel like you might have taken advantage of our goodwill. Oh, okay.
He's coming in, and yeah, he's down again. Look, I promise. I thought that one was a goal. I was at the Jeff Carter 1000th game. I'm such a big Kings guy. And okay, let's go to this one, February 28th. We've got Tyler Toffoli here, and he scored. Oh,
All right, Dave.
That hurts.
I see what you did.
That hurts.
I see what you did.
It feels like things just aren't really going well at the Staples Center right now, doesn't it?
Four clips, 4 pratfalls.
Yeah.
So it's some highbrow comedy that you brought us today.
I see how you might not trust me.
Well, I hope this clip is bringing a wave of joy to our Kings fans.
It's actually making me feel really good. Dustin Brown, we're gonna go with Dustin Brown now. He's a fellow upstate New Yorker.
Mm-hmm. As is Iafallo.
Probably why they hit each other right there. It's just some great man-on-man coverage right there. We get the full impact. I love a hard hit. Part of the game, you know?
Now, do I get to come on your podcast and show clips of the Sabres losing games now? Like, is this... Do I get to...
You don't. You can come on my podcast, though, and show clips of Cal Peterson signing with the LA Kings.
I will do that.
All right, look, this last one, I promise. The Kings have won two cups, right?
Yeah.
And we got here 2014. They've just won, and oh no, look at that.
Yeah.
She's down.
All right, you had me going there for a second. I thought
sorry
maybe
about
you'd
that.
show.
That's somebody's family member or something. That's not good. But hey, they won, right?
They did. They did. And I have to admit that is one of my favorite clips. But you had me going there, Daniel. I thought maybe we might see one of Gabrick's goals from 2014, or maybe one of Justin. Well, there she goes again, hitting her. Oh, Lord. All right.
What's Bailey we got there?
I don't think you could do any worse than that. or baseball.
Is that something to hit me with? Unbelievable, Bailey. You're supposed to be a role model. You're supposed to be a role model for the community. This is terrible.
All right, Daniel. Well, despite you having a little bit of fun with us at the end there, we appreciate you stopping by as always.
Thank you very much for having me. Hopefully, I'll see you at a game soon. It's always nice to stop by and take in a Kings game whenever I'm in town. So may we have a return to normal at some point, and maybe they'll expand the playoffs to 31 teams this year. We'll see.
That's how the Kings can get in. Daniel Armbruster from Joywave. The album is Possession, available now. Thank you again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, big thanks to Daniel Armbruster for joining us. Not so big thanks to him for that highlight package. I think he got us there, Bailey. But like I said, we'll get him. We'll go on his podcast someday and get him back. Look, Bailey, we all miss hockey, but I know that you miss sports in general, all of them. You're a huge sports fan, Lakers, Dodgers, football, MLS, everybody under the AEG banner. You're a huge sports fan, a big social media cat. How are you passing the time and keeping yourself busy with no sports watch? All right. Bailey, that was impressive. You've got the arm, you've got the hands. Have you ever considered going pro? You're a 5'2" lion. Look, everybody obviously knows that you produce great stuff on social media, but there are tons of other things happening on King's social media. And so to tell us all about that, Carlin Bates. It's time for another social media roundup. And so joining us now, Carlin Bates from Fox Sports West. How are you doing today, Carlin?
I'm doing well, Jesse. It's a nice hot, 95 where I'm at today. Yeah. So I'm baking, but I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. I miss you. I miss Bailey, I miss everybody at the Kings and Fox Sports. I'm starting to go a little crazy. I was okay for the first few weeks, but I'm starting to lose it, frankly. But lift my spirits with some social media stuff, Carlin. What do we have going on this week?
That's what I'm here for, man. We've got number one. It's the Kings Animal Crossing jerseys that they've just released. And if you're playing Animal Crossing on Nintendo Switch, it's kind of the thing to do right now. You can now wear a customizable jersey or t-shirt to represent your favorite team. They have a QR code. You can scan it. There's some more information on the website. And they've got 3 different variations with, like I said, a cute little t-shirt. So for all you Animal Crossing fans out there, now you can let people know on your little island that you're a big darn Kings fan. Jesse, have you played Animal Crossing yet or kind of dipped a toe in that world or what?
I recognize every word that you just used, but put in that order, I don't understand a thing you just said. I know that Animal Crossing is a game.
Yep.
I don't know how it's played. I don't know anything about it. You're going to have to explain it to me.
Well, it's fun. And if you play it, you can be a Kings fan in your own little world.
I did see on your Twitch channel that you played it, started playing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm any good, but I'm there and I'm doing things.
It doesn't, I mean, I've only watched a few minutes, but it doesn't look like the sort of game one can be, quote, good at. I mean, it looks like that farm simulator that people used to be mad about on Facebook.
Exactly. It's just a never-ending thing.
All right.
It's a time suck. Let's just call it that. No one can win. No one can lose.
Perfect
but your time
for it, right?
Exactly. Your time can disappear. For number 2, we've got Trevor Lewis and his twins doing workouts together for Healthy Kids Day, which was just celebrated on May 2nd. And there's some really cute workouts here. Both of his twins are wearing little Kings jerseys that say daddy on the back with the number 22. And they were jumping on a trampoline. They were doing quick feet. They were doing push-ups. His son pooped out for a second, but it's great family fun content that was just so adorable. I mean, Jesse, how cool is that like Trevor Lewis is creating digital content at home just like we are?
I mean, when Ian LaPerriere wore number 22, I fell in love with him and the number, and I never thought there'd be another 22 that I would love as much as Ian LaPerriere. But Trevor Lewis is giving him a run for his money, and his kids are beyond adorable.
So cute. So darn cute. For number 3, we've got Alex Iafallo and his cross-country road trip back to Buffalo. He's got this really sweet, like, decked out Jeep Gladiator where he like put this thing on the back so he can sleep in it. So of course, as he's like going across the country, he's making a couple pit stops, and one of them was in Waterloo, Iowa, where he made a pit stop in goaltender Cal Peterson's driveway. And it's just like kind of a cool thing to think about as teammates kind of seeing one another. They social distance perfectly well, but it's just a cool thing to know that, you know, Alex Iafallo is just doing this solo mission, but then gets to see a bud along the way.
See a bud, you said there?
Yeah, a bud, a friend, a teammate.
I've driven cross country by myself twice, and I have camped at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, in Yosemite, and all over the place. These are in my earlier days.
Oh my
gosh.
I
mean, I feel like in a different world, me and Alex Iafallo could have been really, really good friends and cross-country travel pals, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Both outdoorsmen.
Yeah.
You know.
I used to be, anyway.
I have a question for you, though. If you were to stay in anyone's driveway along the way, who would it be and why?
Do they have to be Kings people, or could it just be anybody?
Anybody.
I'm going to go with Eric Clapton, just because everybody says he lives in Columbus, Ohio, and I don't believe it. So I would just want to be able to go and prove it and satisfy for myself that he actually does live in Columbus.
Where else would he live?
I don't know. Anywhere.
Is there an Eric Clapton conspiracy I don't know about?
I say that he lives in Columbus, Ohio. I've never believed it, but everybody says he lives in Columbus, so I'd want to go see for myself.
Only you, Jesse.
Yeah. Well, look, I've been to the driveway that has the world's biggest mailbox before, and I wasn't that impressed. So, you know.
Where is that?
I don't know, Mississippi somewhere? I can't remember.
Gosh.
I went in 2012.
This is a whole nother roundup here. We'll do that a different day. For number 4, we've got the Kings Galaxy Brain autocorrect meme. And for people much cooler than myself, like yourself, Jesse, can you please explain this to the fans at home who've seen the meme and are wondering what it means? Because we can all identify with the LA Kongs autocorrect and it happening in our iPhones and how freaking annoying and terrible it is, and how did they not know that it's just Kings by now? But anyway, what is the meme? What does it mean? How cerebral is that? Like, it
So
was
I'm
like
sure
a
my
whole
little
thing.
sisters would scream at me when I get the name of the meme wrong, but I believe it's the Galaxy Brain meme. And just the idea is that, you go ahead and you present 3 or 4, pictures or phrases that, that progress in difficulty or complexity or whatever. And then,
Sure.
the brain becomes more active until finally it reaches, a state of omniscience or whatever you want to call it, the galaxy brain, right? You have your regular brain, et cetera. And so obviously we have the, LA Kings, Los Angeles Kings, and then it finally ends up with Kongs. And as you said, plenty of Kings fans have been frustrated. I have been given 3, 4, 5 different ways, supposedly fixing it in your phone. You go into the keyboards, whatever.
It doesn't help though.
It never works.
It never works. Jesse, there's a conspiracy, isn't there about this spelling? Like, you know more about this than I do. What's going on here?
I'm not a huge conspiracy fan, but I will say and I apologize to whoever first suggested it to me.
Sure.
I don't remember, but Cupertino, right, is where Apple headquarters is, and it's in the Bay Area, where presumably there are a lot of Sharks fans. And I could well imagine whoever it is that's in charge of, programming autocorrect, being a Sharks fan and hating the Kings, and thinking it would be hilarious if Kings fans everywhere had to suffer through changing Kongs back to Kings every time.
It's not funny, is it?
It's
really
not
funny. Oh my gosh.
Not at all.
You said you're not a big conspiracy guy, yet the number before this, you were just saying Eric Clapton doesn't live where Eric Clapton lives. I'm learning about you, Jesse. Okay, number 5. It's the last one. It's just Blake Lizotte on a paddleboard. Great, wholesome content. What more do you want? The kid's having fun. Yeah. Let him have fun. Let him paddle. Look, it's a good activity.
You got to get outside. And to the best of my knowledge, fitting 2 people on a paddleboard is a dicey proposition. So social distancing going on the paddleboard, presumably.
Nobody's mad that you're not doing it with them if, it's a solo activity. It's just being done by yourself and no one's mad about it. So kudos to Blake Lizotte.
Mm-hmm. And kudos to you.
Hey, kudos to me too. All right. That's all I got for this week's social media roundup.
Well, you put a smile on my face as always, Carlin. I appreciate it.
I miss you, bud. I'll see you soon.
We'll talk to you next week. That's going to do it for this week on All the Kings Men Live. Check us out next Thursday at noon. We will be joined by Sean Walker and Matt Roy. Peanut butter jelly time. That's right, Bailey. If you're craving more Kings content between now and next Thursday, don't forget to subscribe to our podcasts, All the Kings Men, Fox and Faust, and the Rainy Day podcast. New episodes every week. You can stream or subscribe at lakings.com/podcast. Of course, you can watch all of the segments from All the Kings Men Live across the Kings social media channels. Join the Facebook groups. Check them out on Twitter, on Instagram. Tons of stuff for you to watch. I want to thank, as always, producer Bailey. A huge round of applause for everybody at the Kings creative team. They put a ton of work into this just so I can hang out with Bailey and talk to you like this. They do a great, great job. So huge thanks to everybody at the Kings. Thanks to Daniel Armbruster from Joywave. Thanks to Carlin Bates. Thanks to Nick Nixon. And, of course, most of all, thanks to you all Kings. Man. Thanks to all of you Kings fans who are watching this. We miss you. We hope to see you all soon. Stay safe, everybody. See you next week.